Hello guys, welcome back to Anton Recipes, and today we have a delicious recipe. It is Peshwari Naan. Peshwari Naan is a sweet kind of naan, the typical naan bread, and inside it has a sweet nutty filling. Two parts of the Peshwari Naan. You have the dough and then the filling. The dough itself is very simple to make. It has 4 ingredients: flour, yeast, salt and water. And then if you decide that I don't have the stuff for this, I don't want a sweet naan, I want mine to be plain, this is all you need. So first I'm going to show you the dough and then we'll get on to that lovely sweet nutty filling. So first what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix all my dry ingredients. Once that's all mixed together, you're going to add your water, and it's warm water, not cold. You want it warm water, and just add it bit by bit. So I'll do half first, just incorporate all that together, and then we'll add the remaining. So you just want to bring that together. Once it's kind of pulled together, you're going to start kneading until the gluten starts to build up within the dough. It may take a while if you're doing this by hand, just to make sure that it really comes together. If you have a mixing bowl, then you can actually use a dough hook and put it on the mixer for around 10 minutes until the dough becomes nice and smooth. So don't lose faith guys. As you can see, what started off looking a really dry dough is starting to resemble more of a bread dough. So I'm going to continue to knead this for around 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks once it's nice and smooth and ready to start to rest. So I've been kneading for around 10-15 minutes, and as you can see, the texture of the dough, sorry about that loud bang. If you look at the texture of the dough as I bring it together, the surface of the dough is quite smooth, and when you press it, it has some give to it. Your fingers don't just dive right in the middle. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a bowl, and we're going to leave it for around 1 hour to raise. So the other part of the recipe is the filling. So with naan bread, as you probably know, there's lots of different flavors you can have. This is your base dough for any flavor that you'd want. If you want a butter naan, just cook it and rub it with butter. But today we want a sweet kind of naan, which is called Peshwari Naan. So what I have here, got my bowl. I have some broken down pecan nuts, some desiccated coconut, and then I also have some raisins and some dates. So all I'm going to do is mix that all together. I've chopped the raisins. Actually, what I started with is I put a handful of raisins in some hot water just to soften the raisins for about 5 minutes. Then I drained it off and chopped them up to this kind of texture. With the dates, they haven't been soaking in any hot water, it's just chopped and mushed, so it's kind of like a paste. So I'll put that into my bowl. With my coconut, and my pecan nuts. Now the good thing about Peshwari Naan is you can have any combination of nuts that you would like and any combination of dried fruit. It's just the nuttiness and the sweetness of the fruit that give it that lovely texture and flavour. So you just mix that together. It might take a bit of a while because the dates are quite firm, but keep mixing. And once it comes together, just set it aside whilst your dough is rising or raising. And depending on how sweet you like your naan, I'm happy with the sweetness of the fruit. But some people like Peshwari naan to be quite sweet, so you can add a teaspoon of sugar and taste each time to your liking. So now that's nicely incorporated, it's perfect for the delicious filling. So we will come back once the dough has risen and we get to the next stage of our cooking process. Hi guys, so we are back with our dough. As you can see, it has risen, doubled in size, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tip this out onto the surface, nice and carefully. And you're just going to lightly knead it to bring it together. And as you can see, it's softened a lot since it's risen, so that yeast has been working. Roll that out a bit, and I'll probably divide this dough into around 8 pieces. So you just want to knead each individual ball until it comes into a nice little circle. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Right guys, so I've rolled all of my dough balls together, and that elasticity is visible. Hopefully you can see it's puffing back up. So what you're going to do now is we're going to make the naan, and you want to start with the first ball you rolled to the last ball you rolled. Don't try and start with the last one because each one has been given a little bit of time to puff up. So I'll take my first one, and I'm going to dust the surface with just a little bit of flour. And what you're going to do is you're going to roll it out just a little bit. Okay, just into a nice little circle. Then you're going to get, remember the mixture we made earlier? This is the date, raisin, coconut and pecan mixture. So you just get one little spoon and you put that in. Okay, a little ball in the middle, and then you fold your dough over that. And pinch it in. Shape that round, flatten it a little bit. And then you're going to roll it out into your naan flavour. Now be gentle because obviously it's got a filling. And those bits that you can see is your nice, yummy, sweet flavour. That's going to give your naan a lovely, delicious taste. Now, typically with naan, well, I say typically, often when I eat naan, the shapes are all different types. So I'm just going to roll it to the thin, how thin I want it to be, irrespective of the shape it is. You can have long shaped naan or, you know, circular naan. Mine's kind of an off circle. Okay, and I think that is how thick I want it. You can go a little bit thinner if you want, or a little bit thicker, but as you can see, that lovely flavour is visible now. That's what you want. So I'm going to do that for the rest of my balls, and then we'll get to cooking. Hey guys, welcome back. So as I've rolled out all of my naans with the lovely sweet filling, so now I'm ready to cook. Now a good way to test is if you get a little bit of water and you splash it into your pan and it immediately sizzles, that means your pan is ready to cook the bread. Now with the naan, you do not need any oil. Hopefully you can see the lovely filling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that with the thicker side down into the pan. So you just let that cook, you don't need to move it around. Once it starts to cook, we should be able to see some bubbles forming on the top, and it should start to release away from the pan so we can actually flip it. So as you can, I don't know if you can see, but there's little bubbles forming. So we'll let that cook for a little bit. So I believe this is cooked up enough, so I'm just going to flip it. So hopefully guys you can see that there's a slight browning. Now we're going to cook it twice on each side so we can get that nice deep charred colour. Right guys, so as you can see, both sides are nice and brown. So I cooked it for about 3 minutes on each side. And once it's cooked, you can just put it off to the side. And bring my lovely cloth and let it rest. So I'm going to do that with the rest of my doughs, my naans, and then I will show you the final product. As you can see, the magnificent Peshwari Naan. So I've actually already buttered them, so I'll just quickly demonstrate what you do. So after you've cooked each naan bread, you just get a small knob of butter and then you rub it along the top and along the bottom of each naan bread, and then you just let that soak in. And as it soaks in, it will allow the naan bread to stay nice and soft. So as you go about, the next few days, it will keep it moist and nice and soft. Now in order to store these, you want to put it in an airtight container or wrap it in some cling film to keep the moisture. If you leave it open, all the moisture is going to evaporate and then it's going to become a pretty disgusting rock hard cake. So I'm going to open it up and let you see what it looks like. Look how delicious that is.